Hey guys, Zen here, and today we've got a bunch of news stories to get to, and so let's just jump right into it. But hey, guys, this is Kaid. He's one of the best operators in Rainbow Six Siege, and also has the best kept beard of any operator in the game. But you know, it's just as important, having a well-groomed weapon down below. Introducing the Perfect Package 3.0 from Manscaped, including the new Lawnmower 3.0. Gentlemen, this is the perfect tool for those family jewels. The Lawnmower 3.0 features a waterproof cordless trimmer with a ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents, and thanks to their skin-safe technology, your weapon below the waist stays nick-free. You'll also notice it's equipped with a handy LED light, so you can even get those tough-to-see spaces. So guys, if you want to get your hands on the best manscaping package on offer, click the top link in the description and get 20% off and free shipping when you shop at Manscaped and use code ZEN20. Also included is the Crop Preserver and the Crop Reviver. It all comes bundled with an incredible travel bag. So gentlemen, what's next? Hit the link below, code ZEN20 at checkout, and improve your manscaping today.
Thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this video.
All right, so we're going to begin with one of the worst kept secrets of all time for Rainbow Six Siege, and that's the leaked Sofia Elite. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really plan on covering this until its release, mainly because, you know, some would rather the surprise, but somehow hackers and even people who aren't cheating, like competitively, have been able to access it, and I've spent the last few sessions playing against it, and I thought you guys should know. Now, some players just aren't a big fan of it. Personally, I enjoy this style of Elite, and it's because they've kind of returned back to the original design of the Elites and based it off of a Polish military general. If you look at the last few Elites like Caveira, Ella, and Smoke, they've been much more personality driven, which reflects the operator's backstory or a point in their history that represents them, kind of like with Caveira. Now, Sofia is much more disciplined and grounded than her younger sister Ella, and as an additional point, she's a mother, so being put together and professional just runs throughout. I play a lot of Sofia, and I actually really love this, and so hopefully it's coming soon. My guess is the mid-season Elite for this season, or potentially the Elite paired with season 2 of year 5. To go along with this, we have another leak, this time for the upcoming Mafia event. So it's called the Stolen Goods event, and it'll feature customizations for a bunch of the operators, as well as a vintage look to the original Hereford base as the map. Now, a lot of people were wondering if this is a full event or just another option for the arcade playlist, but I think it's going to be on a much bigger scale here. Ultimately, the Golden Gun playlist wasn't that big. Like, it was special because obviously it was the first of its kind, but it didn't offer any customization options. The Oregon rework didn't feature any changes, and there weren't any rewards on offer, which, just putting it out there, that would be great to see with the next arcade mode, but there was none of that. It was just a fun spin on the classic gameplay of Siege, and it looks like this Stolen Goods event is something more substantial. Now, I am very excited to revisit the original Hereford base, because every time Ubisoft introduces a map rework, they completely remove the old version from the game. It's not really available anywhere, and this was still a super fun map, even if it didn't hold up too well with the meta. Next up, guys, we're talking about Year 5. Recently, the director of Rainbow Six Siege was asked to go a little bit more in depth about Year 5, and we learned just a little bit more about the philosophy for this year, the next generation, and the TACHANKA rework. Let's circle back and start with what was said about Siege on the next generation of consoles. So, guys, the director confirms that the game will support cross-generation matchmaking. If you're playing on PS5, you'll be able to play with your friends still currently on the PS4, and the same thing with the Series X. If you're there, you'll be match-made with folks from the Xbox One. A nice addition to add is that you'll even be able to take the disc from either the PS4 or the Xbox One and place it in the next generation, so the PS5 or Series X, and be able to play the same experience today. They say they don't want to split up the community, and they also don't want to force people to buy Rainbow Six Siege again at full price. Now guys, this is a huge move. Like, this makes it so that when you do decide to upgrade, you'll still be able to play your favorite game, assuming Siege is your favorite game, but at least you know that if you do upgrade, there's still a full community of people to queue with, and you're not alienated in any way. Now, obviously, that does mean that on those systems, Siege will remain basically the exact same game. Usually, when new hardware is released, you see games get an upgrade in graphics or performance, and just a little bit of something to make your purchase a little bit more worth it. And so, really, what's happening here is a port. Of course, the beauty of that is that you don't have to rebuy anything. I would assume most of the stuff that you have now will carry over, like elites and other cosmetics, and it's just ease of use. You just take the disc and place it in your shiny new console. So really, nothing too to be mad at, but also nothing amazing to anticipate. They also mentioned the upcoming TACHANKA rework and really define what an operator rework is. So the definition of an operator rework in Rainbow Six Siege is new gameplay. Lion is an example of an operator tweak where, yeah, the change felt substantial and ultimately Lion lost the ability to see through walls, but the experience is still Lion. You still press one button, the animation is all the same, and the goal for what the operator is supposed to do is still very much intact. He's still Lion. TACHANKA is different. The goal is to change what the operator does completely, and at the end of the line is a totally different operator, a completely changed experience, if you will. Now, this is actually very important to understand because what this really calls out is that whenever the devs mention reworking an operator, they're talking about fundamentally changing what it's all about. And even though we have had some soft reworks like with Jackal and Lion, TACHANKA will be the first true operator rework in the game, and I suppose he deserves that badge. Something else here is that TACHANKA never really had a playstyle. Ubisoft always thought he'd be the most overpowered operator in the game, and there was a point where TACHANKA almost never came out, but quickly, because of just the nature of him being immobile, they just learned that he didn't work. Now, for those of you who haven't kept up with the demigod, TACHANKA will now wield his turret as his primary. No longer will he be mounted to it, and on top of that, the turret will feature full soft wall destruction. Now, his gadget is a grenade launcher that fires rounds that bounce off of surfaces and leaves a pool of fire wherever they go off. So, obviously you guys get it. This is a totally different operator now, and so it's nice to get clarification that operator reworks are going to be a full overhaul and not just tweaks. And then the last thing they mention about Year 5 is that it is being considered a year of change. Year 6 will basically be an all-new Siege. Like, I don't want to overbloat anything, but from everything that's come out, Year 6 has an all-new direction. New content is being rolled out completely differently, and even the Pro League will complete its full rework. And so Year 5 is pretty much the last of the game as you know it. I think the most interesting thing the director says here is this. For me, I am interested in the kind of feature that really changes the way you approach things and develop new skills, and that allows for maybe a new type of player, a new mindset to rise in the game. I think it would be super beneficial for our players, and it should be more appealing and more interesting for a larger population. So not meaning that we are going to be more mainstream or casual, but more meaning that there will be ways for people to express their talent and their skills through different mechanics, and not only by relying on pure mechanical skill or the creativity of destruction. This is honestly fascinating because it could mean that Siege as a whole is willing to adapt and become a deeper game by allowing new skills to develop. Right now, your ability to aim and your understanding of the mechanics like destruction is what progresses your skill in the game. I think just the fact that the director wants to challenge that and find other ways for people to learn and become better that don't necessarily rely on those things, yeah, it's interesting. Personally, I don't want Siege to become more casual. I think what's made it last as long as it has been that Siege is so difficult, and the only way to get ahead is to spend valuable time with the game and progress organically. I'm all for this new direction for the game, but all I ask is that the experience doesn't get watered down to appeal to the masses. New players, well, just more players is always good, but the backbone of Siege is its veterans, more so than most games, and so yeah. Next up, we're talking about the next generation because Sony finally released details about the new PS5 controller, the DualSense. So if you've been a fan of PlayStation for a while, you'll immediately notice this controller's similar design with the PS4. The focus for the design was to keep all of the things that gamers loved about the DualShock 4 and build upon it in some interesting ways. The first thing they did was add haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. The triggers will give you a better sensation of tension, so you'll feel things more accurately, like if you were to draw back a bow. You'll actually feel the weight of it. Haptic feedback is actually a technology Apple users will notice immediately because the haptic engine has been in the iPhone for a while now, but it's essentially more sensitive and detailed rumble. You'll be able to feel more of the subtleties of what's happening on screen instead of your controller shaking like it does today. There's also a new create button that's basically the share button on the DualShock 4 with some additional features they've yet to announce. I'm guessing there's going to be an entire creator suite in the next PlayStation because that's really been a focus on gaming, with gamers wanting to create clips for YouTube and of course go live on stream. Now, as for the aesthetic, this thing is super unique, even for Sony. For the first time ever, PlayStation is launching with a two-tone controller. Typically, they're all black or in some cases gray, and so they've decided to come out a little prettier this time. They've also moved the big blue light on the back of the DualShock 4 to the front on either side of the touchpad, and I love this, guys. It just looks so much more clean and just gives the controller that pop. Now, last up for features, the controller features a full array of microphones, so now you won't even need a headset to chat with friends, and you may not even need a microphone on your headset, which opens up the door for some high-powered headphones that'll offer you much better sound. So compared to the Series X new controller, I think the DualSense offers more features and just leans a little bit more into innovation. Without having hands on it, this is my personal favorite controller Sony has designed yet, and I think those who are thinking about upgrading to the PS5, there's going to be a lot to love here. And so that's the video, guys. I hope you had fun. That's the latest news and tidbits from around the community and everything worth talking about. But of course, I want to hear from you. What do you guys think about what we discussed in today's video? If you don't have any thoughts, well then, about how many times have you washed your hands this week? Leave everything in a comment down below. Guys, here's a quick reminder to go find me over on Twitter. It's the best place to talk direct with me, and we're always posting updates and stuff like that. So of course, go support my tweets. But that's it, guys. If you did enjoy the video, drop a like and subscribe if you're brand new. With that, it's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.